Good afternoon and welcome to the news. My name is Remy Allen. After months of controversy and uproar, Edo State Deputy Governor Philip Shaibu has officially declared to run for the 2024 governorship election in the state. In a pre-recorded speech, Shaibu, who has been the Deputy Governor of the state since 2016, said he will run for the office of the number one in the state on the platform of the People's Democratic Party, PDP. After his official declaration, Shaibu launched his campaign office in Benin City, the state capital, at an event crowded with party supporters in branded accoutrements. The 53-year-old politician said he has put his life on the line for the development and growth of the state, and he was determined to make the South State great again. Both Obaseki and Shaibu were once allies of Oshomole, but the political association among them tumbled towards the 2020 governorship election when the ex-Labour leader was accused of godfatherism, which he denied. The federal government is working towards the reintroduction of the policy of university full autonomy. The direction President Bola Tinubu noted is premised on the federal government's conviction that university autonomy provides the platform for institutions to develop at the pace set by their councils and Senate rather than being bogged down by any external bottlenecks. Tinubu, who spoke through Minister of Niger Delta Development, Abubakar Momo, made the revelation at the University of Benin's 48th convocation ceremony. He expressed optimism that university autonomy will no doubt transfer the responsibility of performance directly to the individual institutions rather than the current state of uncertainties. The President assured that the federal government will continue to demonstrate its commitment to improved conditions of welfare in the universities by the provision of needed infrastructure, including lecture theatres, student hostels, administrative offices, and learning tools. Women journalists have been encouraged to utilize their positions in promoting the cause of the female folk in society. Stakeholders in the pen profession gave the tips at the just concluded Trerenia National Delegates Conference tagged Abuja 2023. Omoriala Abuja reports that it is the 11th conference to be held since the establishment of the association 34 years ago. Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Ekperikpe Eko, has established a committee to provide recommendations within a week on how to enhance supplies and reduce pricing of cooking gas in the country. The on cooking gas followed a rise in recent months in the price per kilogram from about 700 naira to above 900 naira in parts of the country. He expressed concerns of President Bola Tinubu on the astronomical increase and attendant hardship on the citizenry. The minister, while highlighting Nigeria's abundant gas reserves, expressed disapproval of multinational firms prioritizing gas export over allocating significant volumes for the domestic market, deeming it unacceptable. When I go back to the reports on NAWOJ, women journalists have been encouraged to utilize their positions in promoting the cause of the female folk in the society. Omoriola Abuja reports that it is the 11th conference to be held since the establishment of the association 34 years ago. The report.
From all parts of the country, members of Nigeria Association of Women Journalists, NAWOJ, arrived Miriam Babangida National Center for Women Development Central Business Districts, Abuja, for this year's national conference. Dignitaries from the pen profession and government functionaries also graced the event, while Chairman, Nigerian Union of Journalists, Ondo State Council, Leke Adegbite, led the state delegates to the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, venue of the event. Outgoing National President Ladi Bala expressed appreciation to members for their cooperation over the past 3 years and assured them that NAWOJ has come to stay with the various achievements recorded during her tenure.
To challenge each and every one of us. Don't wait until something happens. Report it as it's happening in another community, so as to prevent it from happening in your own community. Let's take this call very seriously, because it's on this basis that one.
Chairperson of the event, Mrs. Moji Makonjola, who saluted the 34 years of existence of NAWO, which is to promote and give women voices in society.
We are talking of a congregation of women with same purpose. The purpose to show the world that women can deliver. Women can make things work. Women are capable of leadership.
Others, including NUJ National President Chris Isiguzo, called for peace and unity, which they described as a cornerstone for progress.
Our oneness, our unity as women will be held with great pleasure.
The AUJ is committed to extending the necessary resources, guidance, and collaboration to ensure the continued success and growth of the Nigeria Association of Women Journalists.
Unite, invest to prevent violence against women and girls. The role of the media is the theme for this year's conference, as delivered by guest speaker Ene Obi.
In all of your states, you are in 36 states plus one. Look at how you build the unity between the women who are leading and the members of the organization. How do you show love to one another? The
11th Triennial National Delegates Conference produced another leadership that will stay the affairs of the association for the next 3 years, as Aisha Bura became national president, while Adeola Adekunle from Ondo State emerged vice president of B Zone.
Moranic has called a total number of 67 votes, while Adeola Adekunle called a total number of 144.
Omoniola Mbiji, Osrc News.
African Development Bank (AFDB) has signified intention to loan Nigeria $134 million as an integral part of the National Agricultural Growth Scheme and Agro-Pocket project. The facility allows farmers to engage in the cultivation of key staples like rice, maize, cassava, and wheat across the country. Minister of Agriculture and Food Security Abubakar Kyari announced this in Jigawa State while flagging off this year's wheat dry season farming. With the loan, according to him, crop yield will increase at least 20% compared to the previous year. Governor Roman Namadi of Jigawa expressed gratitude to the federal government for choosing the state and for providing the farmers with significant help. Aggrieved people of Igbomoturu in the southern Ijo local government area of Bayelsa State have staged a peaceful protest against the invasion of the coastal community by military gunboats. The protesters, made up of youths, men, women and chiefs who demonstrated in the community, allegedly claimed that the onslaught was reportedly at the instance of a deputy governorship candidate in the just completed state governorship election, Joshua Mashiva. They also alleged that Mashiva masterminded the invasion to oppress them and also installed one Friday Jonathan, who had been rejected as the paramount ruler of the community. Mashiva has yet to respond to the allegations. Troops of 6th Brigade Garrison Nigerian Army have rescued 2 hostages abducted in a suburb area of Jalingo, Taraba State capital. Rescued the victims around CBM Babayao in Jalingo local government area of the state. According to the commander, 6th Brigade Nigerian Army, Brigadier General Frank Etin, the feat was achieved when the troops, acting on credible information, conducted its rescue operation on terrorists hibernating an operating area in the state metropolis. In the process, 2 of the kidnappers were arrested, while others fled upon sighting the troops. The commander said troops are on their trail and they will soon be arrested. The Socioeconomic Rights and Accountability Project, SERAP, has urged women to suspend issuing loans to Nigeria's 36 states over allegations of mismanaging public funds, including facility obtained from the bank to probe the spending $1 billion in loans and other facilities by the 36 state governors in Nigeria. According to Sarah, the World Bank's lending and support for these states may create the impression of complicity in the allegations of mismanagement or diversion of public funds by the states, which may include loans from the bank as well as its partners and federal allocations. It craved the bank to send independent monitors to the 36 states to monitor the spending of the loans and other funding obtained from the bank and its partners to remove the risks of mismanagement or diversion of public funds by the states. A study conducted by TechnoServe Nigeria and Ford Foundation has called on African leaders to concentrate on economic empowerment for women to end gender-based violence (GBV) in the continent. The report, which was based on findings from a study conducted in Nigeria, Ghana, and Senegal, also said most women do not have confidence in the application of laws and government policies to get justice against gender-based violence in the continent. According to the study presented in Abuja by TechnoServe Nigeria Country Director Adesua Akimboro, empowering women economically with means to generate or earn income will significantly improve their status and reduce their exposure to gender-based violence. Akimboro, who disclosed that the purpose of the research was to speak to more than 1,000 women, stakeholders, communities, institutions of faith and culture in the 3 countries where the research was carried out. Adesua explained that what informed the research was to see if there is a nexus between empowering women economically and gender-based violence. Sierra Leone's one-time curfew imposed after armed men freed prison inmates has been lifted for now. The West African nation's information minister said detainees from a number of major facilities were released on Sunday. President Julius Maada Bio later said most of the leaders behind the attack had been arrested. In a televised address, he described the events as a breach of security and an attack on democracy. He said calm had been restored but gave no details about who the perpetrators were or what they wanted. French Minister for Foreign Trade, Attractiveness and French Nationals Abroad, Olivier Brecht, says technology, agricultural and energy sectors have the highest potential of deepening bilateral trade relations between France and Nigeria in the future. He said this at the French-Nigerian Economic Summit in Lagos, which was part of the events for French Week organized yearly by the French-Nigerian Chamber of Commerce. Brecht applauded the exceptional density of the French-Nigerian economic relation, saying Nigeria is a key economic partner for France, while stating that Nigeria ranks 4th as France's trading partner in sub-Saharan Africa. The number of people killed by floods from heavy rains in Somalia has risen to nearly 100. The flooding has been described as the worst in decades and has displaced about 700,000 people, according to the United Nations. Zaid Arabisala has more.
The heavy rains in Somalia have taken the lives of about 100 people. The figure was confirmed by the head of the country's disaster management agency on social media. The constant downpours are putting fear into the country's residents, like Awa Ali Ahmadine.
These floods are double compared to the previous ones. You can't take a risk in this one. When it's raining, we sit outside under a tent until the rain slows down. We only come in the house when the rain slows down so that we can cook for the children.
Somalia and the rest of the East Horn of Africa have been battered by relentless heavy rains that began in October, caused by the El Nino and Indian Ocean dipole weather phenomena. Both are climate patterns that impact ocean surface temperatures and cause above average rainfall. The flooding has been described as the worst in decades, displacing 700,000 people according to the United Nations. The intense rains are exacerbating an already existing humanitarian crisis caused by years of insurgency. The head of Somalia's Red Cross, Pascal Kutat, says the worst is not over yet.
We have currently a confluence still of the Indian Ocean dipole of El Nino. We have a cyclone building up in the Indian Ocean. We have rains continuing in the highlands of Ethiopia. All of that means that this is not over and it's not yet at its peak. It's getting worse and these people are going to suffer more.
In neighboring Kenya, the floods have so far killed 76,000 people, according to the Kenyan Red Cross, destroying roads and bridges, as well as leaving many residents without shelter, drinking, and food supplies, according to the charity Doctors Without Borders. Sahid Aribisala, OSRC News.
The truce between Israel and Hamas has entered its final 24 hours, with the militant group saying it was willing to extend the pause after it freed more hostages, including a 4-year-old orphaned by its attack. The pause that began Friday has seen dozens of hostages freed, with over 100 Palestinian prisoners released. Tend to whether the truce will be extended before its scheduled end early tomorrow. Hamas has signaled its willingness to extend the truce, with the group telling mediators they were open to prolonging it by 2 to 4 days. A South Korean court has sentenced a 68-year-old man to 14 months in jail for praising the North in a poem that was published in the North State media in 2016. He wrote that if the two Koreas were united under Korean socialist system, people would get free housing, healthcare, and education. In the piece titled Means of Unification, Lee also argued that in a united Korea, fewer people would take their own lives or live in debt. The poem was one of the winners of the poetry contest in the North in November 2016. Indian rescuers have begun digging a vertical shaft to free 41 workers trapped inside a collapsed road tunnel for 2 weeks after efforts through another route failed. It is the latest setback in attempts to rescue the increasingly desperate workers. Akintunde Akishimola has the detail.
2 weeks in, a new tactic to rescue 41 workers trapped in a highway tunnel in the Indian Himalayas. Rescuers began drilling vertically a few hours ago from the top of the mountain, according to government officials, and that will take about 4 days. The rescue plan initially involved pushing a pipe wide enough to pull the trapped men out on wheeled stretchers. But that hit a setback on Friday when a heavy drill broke, leaving rescuers reliant on handheld power tools to break through the rock. The construction workers, who come from some of India's poorest states, have been stuck in a 5-kilometer tunnel being built in Uttarakhand state since it caved in on the 12th of this month. They're safe with access to light, oxygen, food, water, and medicine, according to authorities. The father of 22-year-old Majid Chaudhary, who is stuck in the tunnel, says he wants his son to change job when he gets out. I want him to stay near me, he says. Authorities have not said what caused the tunnel collapse, but the region is prone to landslide. A panel of experts investigating the disaster has found the tunnel had no emergency exit and was built through a geological fault, according to one of its members speaking on condition of anonymity. The men have been getting cooked food such as lentils, flatbread, and vegetable curry since a larger lifeline pipe was pushed through earlier last week. Akintunde Akinshemola for Osrc News.
The families of 3 Palestinian students shot on Saturday in the U.S. state of Vermont have urged police to investigate the attack as a hate crime. Police said the 3 were confronted and shot by a man near University of Vermont campus. Officers are investigating a possible motive, but say the victims were wearing a traditional scarf and speaking Arabic when attacked. The police have named the suspect as Jason Eaton. A Thai para-athlete and former soldier has shot his bride and 3 others before killing himself on his wedding day. He was married on Saturday in northeast Thailand. According to reporters, he left the wedding party abruptly and returned with a gun, shooting his wife, her 62-year-old mother, and 38-year-old sister. Stray bullets hit 2 guests who were taken to hospital. His motive remains unclear, but he had bought the gun and ammunition legally last year. Nigeria's hope of qualifying for next year's T20 Cricket World Cup has been brightened following the national team, the Yellow Greens, win over Tanzania at the qualifying competition holding in Windhoek, Namibia. The Yellow Greens' hope of making the World Cup were dented on Thursday when the team lost narrowly to Kenya. The win against Tanzania has restored hope of a top 2 finish from the 7-nation qualifiers. Captain Abi Patwa scored 52 runs from 40 balls, while Ivan Selamani posted 26 from 22, containing Nigeria's pace bowlers in the process. Elsewhere, Uganda created an upset when they defeated Zimbabwe, a test-playing nation, in their first competitive encounter. Still on sports, a dominant Jannik Sinner has outclassed Australia's Alex de Minaur to help Italy secure their first Davis Cup title for 47 years. Analdi beat Alexei Popyrin in a nervy opening singles match to put Italy 1-0 up in Malaga, Spain. Senna then backed up his sterling week with a win over de Minaur. It is the second time Italy have lifted the Davis Cup, having previously won the title in 1976. Australia were bidding for a 29th Davis Cup title, but have now lost back-to-back finals, having been beaten by Canada last year. And with that sports story, we conclude World at Noon. Many thanks for watching. Good afternoon.